technique of writing down the thoughts, I recognize them. And right before the words, like the old subliminal stuff they used to crack jokes about at the movie theater, right before the words was the picture words. So when I was writing down the thoughts, I wrote down the picture and I wrote down the words. Because it seems as though that dropping in of the picture, when I said the first thing was that dropping in of the picture seems to have a lot of things attached to it, including the symbols as I go through the process.
The picture is the symbol. The words follow because the picture came with you. The words followed. You learned the words. Not that you didn't have the potential for them, but that's the whole thing. You know, it's like that person said. Here was what you were afraid of. Okay? He dropped, or they dropped, or however you want to put that, dropped all the other stuff. Okay? This is the picture. You make a picture of the world. Okay? So in your sight and in your communications or in your dreams, that's why the symbols, the things that you see are more important, because they precede the word, and then the words come and you say, well, this, and this about it. You drop all that to be you, the thing that you were afraid of all along. And that's what process is about. Just coming to you without all the stuff that you've learned. Because what you've learned through the words is nothing. It's just a way. It's a way for ignorant people to communicate. That's what words are. And notice my use of the word ignorant. Not ignorant, but ignorant. Okay? Because what happens between us really has nothing to do with the words. But we assume that because we're word-oriented. The process is going beyond that, right down to the picture. One of the things that does this, aside from death, pressure. Okay. When the pressure is on, what will you do? Okay. Will you become because of the words? Or do you act in a particular way because of what you see? Picture. Follow what I'm saying? Okay. I've given an example of that, like when you're under stress in sports. Okay. One of my first experiences was with running with the ball and realizing I had a picture in my mind of the people behind me. And just stepped away, and that was true. There was somebody behind me, and they were just getting ready to meet me with bad intention. But the picture, he went that way, I went that way. So the picture was there, but that's what happens when you live in the moment. By being in the moment, you become more with the picture.
What are we without the picture? The pictures are everything that is here.
There's no description for what you are without the picture. Things.
The perceiver of pictures?
Yeah. Yeah, you perceive the pictures. You know, there's no way to define something you were saying earlier. Am I inside it? Am I in the molecule? Am I in the hydrogen? Am I outside it? Am I? The answer is yes. You're inside and outside. The world is within you. But the other thing we kind of talked about was your perception of yourself. See, you perceive yourself as encased in this body. It's not true. The body is in you. The world is in you. So you perceive with this small idea as opposed to perceiving from the larger perspective. Someone says to me, or I'll go back to an incident when I think I first met Jesse at, did you come to that book signing?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a young man there, and he wanted to know what books I had read to get this information out of. It's like, that makes no sense to me. Because coming to where I've come, I wouldn't say anything I read in the book was true, because I don't know. But the point is, you don't have to read the book when your perception is larger than your perception of yourself as a person. You see it. It's like I talked to you about, we talked about the relationship in size to the perception. And I talked about the Big Bang. How do I know that? Because I have no perception of myself as this. The perception of myself is this. It happened and is happening inside of me. That's why I can describe it. You see what I'm saying? So, how do you see yourself? When you see yourself without the limitations that have been imposed upon you by yourself, by your size, and your relationship to the world you have created, you seem small. But that whole idea, everything has to fall away, has to stop. You've heard me say, I don't know what it means to be black. I don't know what it means to be a man. I don't even know what it means to be a human being. What am I saying? I'm saying, I know how people treat me because of this, but that's their perception, not mine. I know how they treat me because of this, but that's their perception, not mine. You see what I'm saying? So the size, and here's something I guess I should point out to you. Let's talk about the awakening. The awakening comes after a awakening. The questions have to fit the expansion. An awakening. That thought I'm having is nuts. A little light comes on. Oh, okay. That's a awakening. When it's around this part of yourself. This part of yourself. Okay. But that's not it. That's not all. You become genius. Okay. You become genius. Wow. Because you got all these answers to all these questions about the society and about psychology and all that. You can do all that. The awakening comes when all the laws are seen. When everything about your humanity even falls away. And you stand, you got to hear me in the right way now, as God, because that's what you are. Well, you can scrape away nothing left. There's nothing left. Now, you can choose to come back and dabble in that world, because there's some things in that world that are pretty cool, in this world that are pretty cool. So you dabble, you play. It's a game. You have to understand. You can do what you want to do, but you have to understand, in terms of the whole, it's a game. The whole idea of life, as we know it, or as anyone knows it, it's a game. Not saying it's not a serious game, but it's a game. Because in the game, it's a game because nobody dies. They appear to die, but nobody dies because you just had a conversation with a dead guy. If that's not true, then you crazy. You nuts. You're talking to a dead guy. Okay. The perception then is like this. So you see, life is eternal. You are only alive. You will never be dead. Ever. Okay. So you say then life is a game. It's a serious game because it's a game of growth and learning. Okay, so you come to that point. And you only come to this point when all things are lost, and your questions, you have to ask that question. So we have these points of awakening, but we need the point of awakening. So as we go along that ladder, we get better and better. We get smarter. Okay. Ultimately, you don't get smarter, you are smart. You are intelligence, and you begin to understand that. So that's the process, and that's the way it fits. But you reminded me of something I saw the other day. There's this guy, John, somebody who talks to dead people all the time on TV.
John of God?
Huh?
Not John of God.
No. Huh?
Lawrence.
He's got some TV shows on it.
No. Anyway, this guy is really good. He's really, really good. I can't think of his last name. No, it's the other guy. Anyway, doesn't matter. He's good. I mean, he was on Dr. Phil and he blew Dr. Phil's mind. Okay, so. But he was, he was talking to this dead guy and he was telling this woman about her father, who's a dead guy, okay? And he said, he looked at her and he said, was he a ladies' man? And she said, yeah, how did you know? He said, because he just told me if he was alive, he'd really get her. It's a dead guy going. I just thought it was just totally hilarious, It's like we're always thinking of dead guys going, ooh, rattling chains and stuff. Here's a guy who wants to watch porno movies as he's dead. Anyway, it depends on your perception. Now, how large is your perception? Yes, Al.
Well, in reference to that means that person died stuck in what he was stuck in.
Yeah.
And eventually, he's going to come back and learn something.
Exactly. Eventually, he'll come back to go through that. Yeah. Because he's stuck there. Yeah. And that's the process. That's the process. That's the process. So if you don't get it now and you don't like it here, get your ticket stamped because you're coming back.
Because the belief in that is so strong. It has to be.
Yeah.
That belief in that illusion has to be so strong to carry that with.
Yeah.
As it is to do the proper.
Well, the thing about that too is, here's what we don't understand about the sexual energy. It's the source of creation by the fact it creates children. But if you don't use it for that, it creates higher things. You can still see it kind of the same way, but as you expand, you see it differently. You see it's there to use, to heal, to raise consciousness, in any what's the strongest marijuana? The strongest is that which has been taken away from the male. So the strongest marijuana is the female. It's not allowed to reproduce, so the sexual energy becomes whoa. Instead of whoa, it becomes whoa. Okay? You see, I use that as an example because it's the same in everything. When the idea about that changes in a person, it's not that sex is not there, it's perceived differently, or it is not perceived, actually. Basically, what people perceive it as is an assurance that they have value, an emotional value. Okay? That's generally how we have mixed that into sexuality. Okay? This makes me valuable. You know, without this, I'm not important. You don't love me if, you know, it's like, no. So that's stuff that you have to clear up in order to see that energy clearly for what it is, in order to see the world clearly for what it is. It's not about any of they, them, it. It's irrelevant. What is relevant is that you feel the energy and let the energy identify itself.
Okay.
That's what's relevant. See, that thing of having to have it is a young person, is a young insecure person's way of gaining validation. Okay? That's head trip. See, you got to understand something I've said. And this whole process is very, very simple. You don't have to figure and work through a whole bunch of stuff. You don't have to work through that. I've said it 1,000 times. That'll take you forever. If you want a tree gone, you take it from the root. You don't go picking the leaves off. You understand it from its base. Its base is energy. And the only way you understand that is to pay attention to that and stop talking to yourself. Sexual energy or otherwise.
Okay.
The most powerful energy in the universe.
Yeah.
That power of creation.
Yeah.
Okay? Of creation. Creation of what? Whatever. You know, I had a laugh with somebody the other day. I said, well, shit, I've been dying so long, people are starting to go, damn, well, man, hurry up. Shit, you know. Well, the point is the use of energy. The use of energy to what end? You see, once you get clear about the whole thing, everything becomes like a tool to achieve the things in life that you really want to achieve. But you have to be clear. I was talking to some people in New York, and I was just looking at them. They'll say, well, oh, spiritual, oh, yes, and I do my affirmations, and I say this, I am grateful to the universe, so and so and so, and it's like, what am I saying? Put it together to see it. It's right there. It's like Ray Charles told Jamie Foxx, play the piano, boy. It's the music is right under your fingers. Appreciation is the joy of doing. That's the affirmation. No word is the affirmation. Okay? The joy of being. You have to live joyfully. That is living in a universe of abundance. That is living in appreciation. You appreciate it by your actions, by the way you deal with it. So in terms of the energy, you show appreciation for that energy, not by talking all this nonsense about it, because the nonsense, I've said it before, this is a lie. Even if it's right, it's a lie because it can't touch the truth. All right? So what do? Everybody knows the answer. Go to the feeling, relax, and feel it. Once you learn how this works and learn to let it go and let it be itself, then you understand. But you have to understand it purely. Because if you don't, you're talking about this person, that person, the other person, how they react to me. Who cares? Who cares? It's about you. Okay? It's not about them, it's about you. What's happening in you? That's the process. What's happening in you in relationship to whatever. And I say whatever because generally it's not about what you think it's about. It's about what's going on in your head as opposed to the truth. Someone says that this person, asked the question, are you antisocial? No. I'm anti-stupid. I'm not antisocial. In that, my experience tells me all the time, this person isn't talking to me. They're talking to what's in their head. What am I going to do? You don't need me for that. Just pretend I'm here and keep on talking while I walk away. Okay, just go ahead. It's okay. The issue then is drop it. Pay attention. Drop it. Even about the nature of reality. And you can't drop it unless you understand it. Okay? It's a process. So you can't, I'm going to drop this, like you constipated sitting on the toilet. I'm dropping this. No, it doesn't work like that. It works by understanding. One of the things was interesting, as we talked and you asked that question in there, so, well, what is it, this or this? Well, the answer, at one point, somebody may ask you a question and the answer comes, you go, oh. Just by having asked the question. See? In that moment, you may not know because the question is getting in the way of the answer. To deal with the question is getting in the way of the answer. So if we ask the question and let it go, the answer comes. The answer is in the question itself. If the question is correct. Now, it's going to be correct about what it says. Okay, so like I heard a woman say, a newscaster say, well, we know where he's at. And I thought, you're a newscaster. You know better than that. Because where he's at, he's behind that preposition. Okay. If you think about what you're saying, you want to know where he is, right? Or where is he? Okay? My point is, we speak from where we see. Okay? Where we see is determined by the limitations that we have placed upon ourselves. You follow? The limitations. And if you keep focusing on the limitation, you never get the answer to the question. If you focus on the limitation, you never get the answer to the question. You must focus on what's the solution. I see the parts. Okay. Oh. I see people doing good in the world. I don't know if they're doing good or not. But I see them doing good in the world. That's a way we have of looking at the world. But see, I don't know if they're doing good or not. Because it's been my experience that whatever you say is filtered through what they hear. Now what? You can talk to a group of people in any movement and you'll get 10 zillion different answers. So from my perspective, the perspective outside that whole definition, I really have nothing to say. That is the perspective of God. Regardless of what all the Christians and all the people have to say, well, God's going to take care of me, and God's going to do this for me, and God's going to do that for me. Jesus Christ. Don't you think God's got more to take care of than that? You see a guy beat the hell out of another guy in the ring, two Christians fighting, and one beats the other one, and he thanks God. Thank God for letting me whip this guy's ass. The other guy was, thank God for not letting me die. It's like, ah! What do you do with your child after they reach a certain age? You let them grow. That is a law. It's a law in the universe. That which you call God does not interfere in your life, because you can't grow if it controls your life. How are you going to aid God in its growth if it's manipulating your life? That's why we have all the craziness going on in the world. People killing people, people doing all kinds of dumb crap. If God were going to interfere, he'd be like, whoa, ho, 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 you can't do that. But no. It goes on and on until the people involved decide to stop. That is growth. Now, we think that what happens is a terrible thing. We think this. We think this because we still think of ourselves as a body. It may be subconscious, but we still think of ourselves in this small way as a body. We die. We die. I say that because sometimes when Carol is back and Sheila is back, they were at the hospital when this happened to me. And it was. Doctors were afraid. I was dying. All of a sudden, I was like, all right, let's party on. Let's go. I mean, my was not on, oh my God, I almost died. You almost killed me. It was like, whoa, let's get it on. Let's move on. Because the attitude is that's just a transition. That's all. No biggie. But then, when I go, you all can cry and stuff like that. It's all right. Go ahead. All I'm saying to you is, they were surprised because I had turned gray. I guess black people don't turn pale. And said, oh my God, he's gray. Get the whatever it was. He's gray. Ah. Okay, well. They were there. They had the experience, and I'm just relating it to you. That in that moment, it's this, and this moment, it's this. This moment. Because the perception of who I am is not that small. When you concern yourself with how others treat you, your perception is pretty small. It's pretty small. I don't get it anymore. I used to. I had to defend myself. I don't have to defend myself. Against what? I'm standing there looking at a person who knows absolutely nothing about me, saying something that makes no sense. That doesn't make sense to me. And that's not an intellectual thing. That's an energy thing where I am puzzled. I am puzzled. When you become more accustomed to the world as energy, doesn't mean you don't interact with it like you do in some ways now. But when you become more involved with it as energy, you can live a joyful life, a productive life, without all the pianos on your back. That's what's important. Then you will get to the next level on the rope or on the ladder you are pursuing. Yes?
I've been thinking a lot about health issues and, how I eat and, lately it's just been a point of concern.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to, even do even better in terms of how I eat and, but one of the things that I'm finding is that ordinarily, the feeling technique, it's like that's with me all the time. So I eliminate a lot of, stress and that I don't really get caught up in that.
Mm-hmm.
However, this one thing that a situation that's happening with me now is causing a certain kind of uneasy energy that seems to be related to my heart, that I can't seem to maneuver out of. You know what I'm saying? I can't seem. So I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, so maybe it's something physical, an actual, or maybe it's just that stress that I I guess is there another technique or something that I can do, like a heart thing, because it's like, it's not palpitations or anything like that,
Right.
but it's like, it even got me to thinking, it's like, okay, so, I can actually, what if I actually have a heart issue and I die? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like,
see you there.
Oh, she was, eating so healthy and,
Yeah.
and all this, how did she die from a heart attack?
Okay. Where you are right now is your energy has risen to the heart chakra level. That's why you're having those feelings. And you got to let it get past there. See, one of the things, you care too much. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you're not supposed to care, because I care. But I don't care that much. You see what I'm saying? You have to let it, you have to relax it. It's just, the technique is the same. It's just come to a point where you have a subconscious belief that to care is good. You've been taught that. And that's true, but not that much. Okay, so you have to let it, you have to go to that spot and just relax it. Relax all the points above it and just let it flow. Okay. Now, one of the reasons for the new growth of new vascular tissue in the heart is because I focus. I think I said this in the last group, or did I, that I start where I start, come on up, and I go through every system in the body. I go through it, but I don't allow the energy to stop there, because I'm going this way and I'm going up. So it will heal, or start to heal, all these things, but it has to flow. So what you have to do is you just come to a sticking point now, because there's some things that you hold on to be good, that are in essence good, but will kill you. Okay? It's just like I said about the incident in the hospital. They had to give me a lot of fluids all that day to save my kidneys. Then I had to go for the procedure the next day. So they gave me all these fluids to keep the dye from destroying the kidneys. But it was too much liquid for the heart. So the heart had an incident. Okay? So what I'm saying is, what's good was bad. It was good for the kidneys, but the heart was saying, whoa, bro. This ain't going to happen. You see what I'm saying? All right, so I'm talking about your basic belief and energy flow. We got that. So whatever your basic belief is, wherever that energy stops in you, it tells you something about a basic belief that you have. Your chakras are related, the chakras are related to the different systems of your body. Where you stop the energy will be related to the disease that you carry. Are there people in your family with heart issues?
No, not specifically.
Okay, I wouldn't worry about it too much then, because everything we have, it is a genetic predisposition. You know, so if there's not a whole lot of people in your family with it, I wouldn't sweat it. I would just let it, you want to get that, let that energy go. Don't worry about about the kind of person you will become. Because there's only, how do I say this? There's only godness in God, or goodness in God, and you're it. So at your base, that's what you are. So when you come to your base, you cannot help but do godly things, and it's okay.
But don't let it stop your heart.
Don't let it stop your heart. That's right. That's because you got another attachment to that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. As you give me a second here. Cold. As you look at yourself, and what you see, if it is not pleasing, don't judge yourself. Don't say, oh my God, this is terrible, this is bad. It's what it is. It's just what it is. Because the fact that you start doing that says that you got another problem. So if you just let the energy flow, just let the energy flow. It will tell you what you need to do. It will tell you what you need to know. But you, again, as you write down what you find, don't be judgmental. That is what that passage in the Bible means. Judge ye not, lest ye be judged. You will not be judged by God, but by your own judgment. Thank you. Okay, any other questions?
So just to clarify, judge ye not, lest ye be judged is like judged by yourself.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Because the same thing you do to others, you do to yourself. Or actually, you do it to yourself before you do it to others. And a lot of that comes from when you're being raised. don't do this, God doesn't like that, so and so, whatever, whatever, whatever. So you take that as judgment or as law, and you carry that with you. That's why all that has to be cleaned up. It's like you tell a 3-year-old, don't cross the street. That's okay for a 3-year-old, but if you're 23 years old and you afraid to cross the street, something wrong. So you have to let go of that. And much of what we have taught ourselves by the assumptions that we've made. You know, all we have to do, let me pay attention. Let me pay attention. And I know there's some of you who think, once you get it, life is going to be good. No, it ain't. I have ceased to think that I will be understood. I've ceased to think that because where I come from is a different place. Where I come from is a different place in terms of, I don't come from a thinking world. Nor do you, but you think you do. Okay? People think they come from this thinking world. I realize more and more that to smile and say, hey, how are you? And to keep on going is probably the best thing I can do. Because when we get to certain points of talking about things of substance, it doesn't work. Now, there are people who've been with me a long time. And I sit here in this chair and chairs other places and say these things. Well, these things are who I am. Okay? These things are who I am. And yet, it is very difficult to just have a conversation because the words go this way, and the reaction to that has nothing to do with what came out. So all I'm saying to you is, do not expect. This is for you. This simply means that you are going to feel better, that you are going to know better. It's not going to say that anyone else is. It's not going to say that. I mean, look at Yahushua. All the good stuff he was saying, look what they did to him. You know, it's like, love my brothers. Yeah. Right after I finished putting this nail in you. What he said had to do with spirit. What they heard had to do with form. You can't even have the expectation that you're going to be heard even by those who say they're on the same path as you. Look around you. How many conversations have you had with people in this group and it's like the Tower of Babel. It's like so that funnels you to see that it's all about you. It's about your growth. It's about your understanding. And the questions that you will ask of yourself to be answered by yourself to take you further and further and further away. Now, you're going to find certain illusions about many things are going to be dashed. You're going to find that what you've thought of as law, let's just say about family, is law. One of the things you'll find out is it's not true. Now, the issue is not whether you do it or not. The issue is, if you understand that it's a choice and not a must. It's a choice, not a must. And for each action that you take, either pro or con, there will be a reaction. You follow? I say to my family, it was just kind of weird. Okay, I'm going to be dead here pretty quick. Don't worry about a thing. I got people who are going to take care of that. Okay. Well, why not us? You want to know the truth? Because you don't know me. You don't know me. They know more about me than you. I don't mean to hurt your feelings. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just telling you, this is the way it is. Well, what about the burial? There will be no burial. You know? Gonna be some ashes. What you do with them, I don't care. You can take them home, bake bread out of them. I don't care. What difference does it make to me? Okay. Spread them over the lake. Spread them over State Street. I don't know. My point is, that is a tradition. Your family is to do this and to do that. Well, I have more family here than I do there. They still look at me as a gangster. I cried at my sister's husband's funeral. I mean, just, just a tear. She looked at me and said, "Oh no, that's not my uncle." I said, "Yeah, fuck that shit. So and so is, oh, that's my uncle." See, that was, what, 35, 40 years ago. You see what I'm saying? So, are people going to know you? No, and you have to stop expecting that they will know you. Things that you think of as family, you see is not true. It's okay. It's not that thing set in stone. It can be if that's what you choose to do, but it has to be a choice, not a must. It has to be a choice. When it's a choice and you choose out of clarity, it's all okay. It's okay. It's about freedom. Freedom means choice. Let them do what they do. Let them do what they do. Just get out of your ego trip. You have to care about your trip. One of the things, see, here's a misunderstanding that we have as people, is I have to bring others along. Here's the big misunderstanding. I'm not bringing you anywhere. We are equals. You have the right to go on your knees, go on your butt, go on your back. Don't go That's not up to me. I am not in your process. You follow? So this is equality. This is what it means that we're equal. I'm not going to start trying to help you in any way. I am here. That's another long story. I am here to do this. You come here to do this. When I do this, I leave here, I don't do this. Got nothing to say. Because they didn't come to me for anything. They didn't ask me anything. I'm not saying anything. However they do it is how they do it. Or don't do it. But I do have to say, when they cross that line, I have to get them straight. And they say, oh, you're so brutal. No, you asked for that. You stepped across that line and asked for that. So, I have to tell you. I do. That doesn't mean anyone else has to. I do. So, you leave them alone. If anything is gained by your presence, so be it. If nothing is gained by your presence, so be it. You follow?
Yes.
Okay. Be honest with yourself. The question then is, why are you here? Why we are here is a very simple thing. I'm sharing some information with you. If I'm sharing that with you, you take it and you use it. If you take it, if you hear it and judge it and don't use it, then the question is, why are you here? Okay. There are preachers. There are preachers everywhere. There's a guru on every corner. Okay. Of which I am not. Not a preacher, not a guru. I help facilitate what you want. You must understand that where we're going, you don't get. So you have to lay down what you think you know in order to hear the issue and go there. Right? Otherwise, the glass is too full and you can't receive more. Okay? So one of the things that I have to be direct about many things, or the things that we say and do, is that this is what this is about. Keep it on that. Nothing more. Okay? Nothing more. This is what this is about. If we keep it clean, we get it done. I first started teaching. They invited me to this meeting of scholarships. Okay. So I go in and everybody's pissed off. You got this one person, well, it takes too long. Another person, it's just like, holy crap. How many criteria are there? 10. How many people here? 11. You take this criteria, you take this one, you take this one, you take this one, you take this one. Figure that out. We give a score. We knock out the high and the low. Voila. 20 minutes we were through. And everybody was like, wow. You're a genius. No, you're stupid. Okay. I didn't say that. But my point was, and somebody said, well, are we going to finish this? And I said, yeah, if you don't talk. And the light bulb went, it's like, oh yeah. If you're sitting around arguing and talking about a whole bunch of other stuff that has nothing to do with the central issue, you waste time, you waste your effort. So here I'm saying, don't waste your time. Don't waste your effort. This is about this. Deal with it. Let it show you from inside out. From inside out. Let it answer your questions. And trust it. You say, well, but they... It's not about them. I don't care who them are. I don't care who. Okay? I love my children over my old people. But granddad come by, here baby, here's $1. Here's another $1. And I go to the store. Granddad got to go now. See you. I hear. Say, what you think, Dad? I think you got to deal with that. That's what I think. Doesn't mean I don't love them. Matter of fact, it means I do love them, because then you got to work and sweat to find your way through it. And that's, see, one of the things that you want to know about here is I give you a puzzle. But the puzzle has hints. You know, if you see, you get this puzzle, it's got 1,000 pieces in it. You start sorting it by color. Then you start putting it together. That's what this is. I give you puzzle pieces, and I hint the coloration. Now, what an individual has to do to sharpen their intellect and to take it outside that small perception is to figure it out. And see, here's what happens. We go back to the energy. What happens when you figure it out? Light goes on. Light? Light? Energy. Usable energy. For health or for creation of whatever it is that you want to do. Whatever it is that you want to do. Okay? I reiterate a story. When I went to the hospital, he said, who's your cardiologist? Okay. All right, I told him. They called him and said, this guy's here, and there's some abnormalities in the heart, but we see no symptoms of heart attack. The cardiologist said, treat this guy seriously. He can diagnose a heart attack even before his heart knows. Okay? Now, what is he saying? He's saying, I don't know who this guy is, but this is what he can do. All right? If you present yourself in the right manner, people don't always know, but they get it. And sometimes they don't. Some people get it. Now, he doesn't know, but he gets it. Here's a doctor that called me at home last Sunday. What? What do you want? A doctor calling you at home? Well, you know, I want to know how you were. Fine. You follow my point here? It's not just a story about Superman. It's a story about energy and about the presentation of yourself. Now, I'm not trying to convert him. I'm not trying to do anything with him except cuss him out, because this medication he's got me, makes me sick to my stomach all day, every day. Anyway, now let's talk about that a moment. We talk about risk. I take this medication because at the end of this, I should be free of the diabetes. Kind of an experiment, but I take that risk. It could go either way. I throw up a lot. I get sick a lot. Even the medication that they give cancer patients who are on chemotherapy. That's why I was pausing, because it had come from here and it was up to here a minute ago, all right? I take that risk for this reward. And suppose it does something to me, suppose it screws me up. Well, I had an epiphany? Yeah, that word, the other day. I'm going into my 77th year. I'm headed toward 80 like a snowball going downhill. So, I die. What the hell? How much longer can it be? So I'll take the risk. Go ahead. I'll take the risk. What the hell? Yeah. You follow my point here? Okay. Kevin?
In the staring at the wall, I was still having trouble with my eyes being sore when I was doing it. So I wanted to ask, what is it the staring? Is it the not moving?
Mm-hmm. Well, here, one of the things I wanted people to get is all the things that you do that are not necessary, and all the energy that you use that could be going toward changing. So, if it's a not moving, not blinking, see, it's all about movement. And if you don't move, all of a sudden you start to become aware of all this energy, because you want to move, you want to do this, you want to do that. That's not working. You want to blink your eye. You want to scratch your face. So you begin to realize how much energy you have available to you if you were quieter. Follow? Yeah. Was that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is going to be it for today. But I'm just trying to make this thing clear. In this process, we like to be conversational about it, but it's not really conversational. You have to keep on the mark. You have to keep on the mark. Any of you guys watch football? You ever notice, those of you who watch, a quarterback can stand 40 yards away and put a ball right on the money. 40 yards away and hit a guy running right in the hands. You ever wonder how he does that? Focus. Mechanically sound technique. Focus. Not wavering, not thinking this, that, or the other, not thinking about whether that guy coming in is going to knock his teeth out. And bang, of course he gets teeth knocked out. The point is, to achieve that which seems unachievable, you have to focus. Things outside of that focus have no meaning. Work your technique. I'd like to thank you for your time. Enjoy.